it's Jasma, and today we're making blue snow skin mooncakes. The filling for this mooncake is lotus seed paste, and this happens to be my favorite traditional mooncake flavor, so I've wanted to recreate it for a while now. The classic flavor combination for lotus seed paste is to pair it with salted egg yolk, but that's been done before. We've seen it. You can buy it in grocery stores wherever you go, and since I've been on a mission to create really unconventional mooncake flavors, I decided to pair the lotus seed paste with blueberry. It sounds very strange, but it actually happens to go really well together because lotus seed paste has a very mellow flavor, and this blueberry kind of just adds a nice sweet, sour, and refreshing fruity kick to it. I do want to mention though, before we get started, that since I've made so many snow skin mooncake videos already, I've pretty much been repeating the same basic details about them over and over and over again. So I'm not going to do the same in this video, but if this happens to be your first introduction to snow skin mooncakes, I'll link a couple of my other videos in the description for you just so you can brush up on those details. Alright, let's get started. When making these mooncakes, the one thing you need to prepare way ahead of time are the lotus seeds. This is going to be used to make the lotus seed paste as the filling later on. But when you buy these, they usually come as dried lotus seeds, and you can't cook them the way they are because they're rock hard. So we need to soak this in cold water for at least 2 hours or even overnight, which is best. With that, we're going to start by making the snow skin. Here are the ingredients. Feel free to take some screenshots. As you know, I usually aim to use natural food coloring for all of my snow skin mooncakes. So to achieve the blue, today I'm using butterfly pea flowers. These are basically dried bits of flour. It acts like a tea. So once you add boiling water to it, it's going to slowly steep its color in. It also has a slight earthy taste to it, but we're mainly using it for its color. I purchased this one from Amazon. I'll link the one that I got in the description below, but I think there are many different places that you can buy these as well. Now that the butterfly pea flowers have been steeping for a while, the color is now nice and infused. Before we strain away the flowers, I'm going to mix together the rest of the ingredients to make the snow skin. So in my bowl here, I'm going to add all of my dry ingredients. So we have the glutinous rice flour, wheat starch, and icing sugar. If you want to know what each of these powders do and why they're so important that you use all of them, go watch my previous videos where I actually explain that. Then I'm gonna add in my milk, flavorless oil, and sweetened condensed milk. Strain away the flowers from the butterfly pea liquid, and look how pretty the blue is. And we're also going to pour this liquid into our batter. Mix everything together until smooth. Feel free to pass this through a sieve if you feel like there are any lumps. And then we're going to transfer this into a steam-safe bowl. I'm using a ceramic bowl, and try to use something nice and shallow so it cooks faster. Prepare a pot of boiling water, and we're going to place this in there to steam. I'm using a special steam pot, but if you don't have one, watch my previous videos to see how you can do the same thing with a regular pot. Make sure you put the lid on a slant so the condensation that forms while steaming doesn't drip into the snow skin and mess with its consistency. Steam this for around 25 minutes, and to know if it's done, just cut it open, and if there isn't any liquid left, then it is ready to go. Transfer the cooked snow skin into a stand mixer bowl. If you're kneading this by hand, you have to let it cool a little bit so that you don't burn yourself. And we're going to knead this for around 5 minutes just so it becomes smooth, and if any oil has separated, you knead it back in. Transfer the kneaded snow skin onto a piece of plastic wrap, fold it up, and then place it into the fridge to chill for at least 2 hours, and you can also prepare this the night before. Moving on, we're going to begin making the filling. Once the lotus seeds are soaked, they should be nice and soft, so you want to just break open each one to remove the lotus plumule, which is the green little center bit. Some brands will have already removed it for you, but you still want to check because even though the plumule is a type of medicine, it's not something you want in a dessert because it's actually very, very bitter. Now that we've done that, we're ready to cook the lotus seeds. I'm going to use my Instant Pot just because it's so much faster this way, but if you don't have a pressure cooker or anything like that, you can just use a regular pot, fill it with plenty of water, and then boil it on medium-high heat. To test if the lotus seeds are cooked, you want to poke it with a fork or just make sure you're able to stab it. It should be nice and tender and pretty soft. Drain away the excess liquid because we want to control how much liquid goes into the final lotus paste, and place all the lotus seeds into a blender. You will need to add some more liquid to this because it's very, very difficult to blend just on its own. So I like to measure how much cooking liquid I actually add to ensure that it's not overly runny. So now we're going to begin blending this mixture. It's going to take a little time before it becomes smooth, so just be patient with it. Scrape down the sides every once in a while, and you can add a little extra liquid if the blender is really having a tough time. And after a while of mixing, it'll go from a bit of a grainy mixture like this to something really smooth and silky like this, and that's when you know it's done. Transfer the mixture into a non-stick pan, and to it add in the white granulated sugar and maltose. You can substitute this with honey, but just use a little less because maltose isn't actually very sweet. Begin cooking this on medium heat, stirring it around constantly. Never stop stirring it around because it will burn, it's going to dry up, and you're going to get a really crusty texture to the lotus seed paste, which you do not want. So once the sugar and maltose is incorporated into this mixture, we can start to add the oil. I added in 2 parts, so add half of it, stir it in until it's emulsified, and then add in the second half. It's going to look really runny at first, but then if you keep cooking, you'll see that it starts to pull away from the sides of the pan, away from the spatula as well, and almost form a dough like this. So once it no longer sticks to your spatula and it kind of holds its shape, you can stop cooking it. So transfer this into a container, cover this with plastic wrap because it does dry up on top, so make sure the plastic wrap is touching the white lotus paste. Let this cool at room temperature before placing into the fridge to chill for at least 2 hours before shaping. And yes, you can prepare this the night before. While the filling is chilling, you want to cook some glutinous rice flour just so it's ready to go and cooled before we need it to assemble. The cooked glutinous rice flour is used as a powder to ensure that nothing sticks to the mold once you're assembling the mooncake, and we're cooking it because we don't want to eat it raw. So all you need to do is to just add some glutinous rice flour onto a pan, cook it on medium heat until it turns just a little bit yellow, and then just let it cool. Now onto portioning the filling. My lotus seed paste has been chilling in the fridge for about 2 hours and it's nice and firm and very easy to work with. Since I'm making 50-gram mooncakes, I'm going to portion them into 25-gram portions, but you can adjust this based on the size of your mooncakes. For the blueberry aspect of the mooncake, I'm using blueberry jam, which I transferred into a piping bag. You can also spoon this into the center of the filling if you want. This is just more convenient. So use a chopstick to create a well inside of the lotus paste filling. This could take a little practice, but then we're going to pipe the blueberry jam into the center. Make sure you don't fill it all the way to the top because we still need to close it up. So pinch together the lotus paste filling and then roll it between your hands to ensure everything is sealed. And there you have the little ball of filling for your mooncakes. Now to assemble the mooncakes, we can begin by measuring out the snow skin, which is 25 grams. You can also do this in advance. Briefly knead it so that it softens up and make sure you're only using your palms so that it doesn't stick. Roll it into a ball and then dust it with a little bit of that glutinous rice flour and make sure you get rid of all the excess. Flatten the snow skin until it's just a little bit bigger than that filling, then place the ball of filling onto the center, flip it over, and then use your index finger and thumb to slowly smooth that snow skin over the filling. Make sure you're not leaving any air bubbles inside. Then slowly close up the mooncake, pinch together the snow skin, and if you didn't overdust the mooncakes, this should really easily come together. Briefly roll it between your hands just to seal everything. Dust it with some more glutinous rice flour to prevent this from sticking to the mold. Then hover over the mooncake mold, use one hand to hold down the body of the mooncake mold, and then use your other hand to firmly press down on the plunger to stamp on the design. And then release to reveal your final mooncake. So that's it with this recipe. I prefer to eat these mooncakes after it's chilled in the fridge overnight. I just think the texture, once everything gets really firm, is the best. By nature, these mooncakes do have a shorter shelf life compared to regular mooncakes, so they last for 2 to 3 days before they start to dry out and kind of lose its texture. The only thing you really can do to delay that is to just keep these mooncakes in a really airtight container and keep it in the fridge. Be sure to tag me on Instagram at Jasma Fusion Cuisine if you make any of my mooncakes. I always love to see what you guys create. The Mid-Autumn Festival this year for 2021 is on September 21st, so happy Mid-Autumn Festival for all those who are celebrating. Thank you so much for watching my videos, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!